Welcome everyone to the Moisky News for May the 18th, 2020. Today I thought, let's take a break from coronavirus. Not the easiest thing to do, but there is something I thought had long since passed, but turns out we're still in the transition phase, that we can now go back to and have a rather interesting discussion about how it's progressing. On Friday, on the political recap stream with Trups, I mentioned that Brexit had hit a wall, an ideological wall. That's a quote from David Frost, the UK's chief negotiator. Well, Michael Gove, the Chancellor and Duchy of Lancaster, or the SNEC, has said that Brexit talks are going well, but the EU needs to show some flexibility, with him believing there is a big philosophical difference between the sides. There's a reason for that. It is because both sides going into the negotiations believe they are the A side, not realising one is a sovereign nation, the other is representatives of other sovereign nations, acting in, air quotes, their sovereign nation's best interests. Member states. Because a side believes that they are the A side, both sides I guess, negotiations are not going any further. The real issue for the EU is that they want us, the United Kingdom, to adhere to their rules even after we leave. Now granted, if we're trading with you, there should be some common ground. We of course should not trade with you if our goods are below your standards. But that doesn't mean we obey your standards, much like it means you don't obey your standards when you trade with us. You obey our standards. And if our standards are higher than your standards, then I have two rather suitable and politically beneficial words you need to learn. Get good. Michel Barnier believes that the UK demands are not realistic and has warned of a potential no-deal Brexit. I'm so afraid. I mean, it's not like I lost all my work already because of Corona-chan, right? Michel Barnier has said that the United Kingdom could not have the best of both worlds, and that he was still determined but not optimistic about the chances of reaching an agreement. The most recent discussions centred around security and economy, but they hit a wall when it came to fisheries, because the People's Democratic Republic of the United Federated States of Europe wants the United Kingdom to allow the EU access to their waters, and for us to align on their rules, which would therefore allow other nations to have access. But it is worth noting that it's not reciprocal. No. They get access to our waters and that's it. Not the other way round. Not that it matters, your waters are slowly but surely dying because your fisheries are becoming barren. I wonder why. Could it be because you overfish? Could it be because you basically catch all these fish and then throw them back dead? There is no chance or opportunity for your fisheries to regenerate adequately. I can't help but wonder why you want access to ours. Michel Barnier has said that the EU won't accept any deal that undermines the EU's integrity, because they are the A side, of course, even though they do need the United Kingdom's, and let's face it, it is, powerful finance sector. So the EU are stepping up preparations for no deal, which comes across as a bit of a weird flex, and a bit of a dead one at the same time. Because I don't believe they want no deal, and I believe while they might prepare a little for no deal, but there is no way they would actually accept no deal, because they know damn well how much damage it will do. Michel Barnier concedes that negotiations are tough, but he will keep trying, which tells me he doesn't want no deal even with the time against them. But he also says the EU won't negotiate in haste. You are negotiating in haste because you have a fixed period of time to negotiate, and you only have a certain number of weeks before the window that we are allowed to ask for an extension comes to an end. And then you have no other choice but to deal or not to deal. If you don't successfully negotiate a deal, Michel Barnier, that will be your legacy. Which means that the transition period is haste. It is incredibly important. The Shadow Cabinet Minister Rachel Reeves has said that Labour absolutely doesn't want the UK to end the transition period without a deal and urges the government not to rush this, and that the last thing our country and economy needs at this moment is a further shock that could put jobs and livelihoods at risk. Bit late for that. Unemployment is going to skyrocket because of what's happened. Other parties, SNP, Liberal Democrats, and the Green Party, have also expressed support for an extension. This came from a letter that was sent to Parliament that says significant opposition to the UK government's extreme position enabled these detailed and defined negotiations to be conducted at a time when we hope the efforts of national government and the European Union will not be engaged solely with dealing with the dreadful COVID-19 epidemic. As far as I'm concerned, governments can multitask. And as long as either a good deal for our side or no deal happens, I'm okay. Quite frankly, and I don't mean this to be rude to the rest of the EU nations, but we are negotiating as a country. You are allowing others to negotiate on behalf of your countries. And you're just agreeing with rules that are set out for you, even if other countries do it just to fuck you. It's not a democracy. And the European Union as a governing body is an absolute insult to democracy. So in my own best interest, which is the United Kingdom's, either we get the best deal we can get for ourselves and protect our country, or we don't deal at all. So you should not have access, the European Union that is, to our fishing waters. We should not have to lower our standards to yours. We should set them higher. We shouldn't trade with you and you trade with us, with your standards being lower than ours, which is a legitimate concern. Our farming agricultural policies are better than yours because yours destroy the ecology, much like our fisheries are better because at least we have the decency to try and regenerate our fisheries. Do I need to continue? While the UK is arrogant and wrong to think of themselves as better, because no side in this should be treated as the A side. Because I'm British, I'm going to take the UK side regardless. It is an obvious bias, and especially when it comes to the EU, I couldn't care less about the deal you get. Because ultimately, the only deal you think is good for you is us remaining. There's no point saying it's any other deal, because that is exactly the deal you would want. By having us adhere to your rules, having no say how they're implemented, and yet not being a member at the same time. With this, I'm interested to know what you'll think. If you think deal, write deal. If you think World Trade Organization rules, write WTO. Do let me know in the comments down below. As a final thing, I'm going to be streaming some Euro Truck on Omega on Plays. If you're interested in joining for a bit of a casual stream and chat and chill, join me. Link below.